Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. We are about to get into a cringe-worthy leadership call from none other than the Le-Vel Huns. This is something called Beyond the Ranks leadership, and I'm sure it's gonna be just amazing. We're gonna learn so much.
I think you're being sarcastic.
But first, we need this disclaimer. Okay, now that that is out of the way, we have one more piece of housekeeping, and if you are not new here, you know that you can go on down to the bar at the bottom of the screen here where it says reaction starts here and skip this part if you would like. You can also go down to the description and find where the chapters are listed and click on the timestamp where it says reaction starts here. If you are new here, please give this a listen at least one time. I make it quick and painless. I do not blur the names or the faces of the individuals that I am reacting to in this video. This video was posted publicly and these individuals are positioned as public figures. This does not mean that I am encouraging anybody to go and seek these individuals out and send them hateful messages or mean comments. That is never the intention of my content. My content is meant to be educational, but most of all, entertaining. So let's all do our part and keep it that way. And with that, we're gonna get the fuck into it. Really quickly, if you're not familiar with Le-Vel, they are known for their Thrive products. They are also known from the Shanann Watts case. She was a Le-Vel consultant at the time that everything happened, but that is not what this video is about. So Le-Vel is an MLM, multi-level marketing, network marketing company, pyramid scheme if you want to call it that. That's just my opinion and allegedly. And their primary focus is, of course, health and wellness products. A lot of people know of them from the patches that these individuals wear all of the time, all over their body. They remind me of nicotine patches, but they make them bright and pop so that people ask them what they have on their skin. It's a very interesting marketing tactic, in my opinion, but that's for a different video. Anyway, we're gonna get right the fuck into this training.
Okay, so we're kicking it off. It is Tuesday. It is end of the month. It is payday. There's so much going on today, and we're just less than 2 weeks back from Thrivepalooza. So much energy, so much fire, so many goals. I will tell you, for me, one thing that I don't want to say achieved, but I mean, I guess, but been better at is being bolder. Sending the message. Yes, I've been here for 10 years. Yes, I'm one of the top income earners. Yes, all the things, but I'm normal. I'm human. I get in my head. And so I have been being bold and sending the message to other friends in the industry that we cheer each other on. We're Facebook friends. And I'm just like, hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm still cheering you on. But if for any reason you're ever looking at something else, please tell me. I'd be the first that you would chat with, because I want to tell you all the great things happening here. Super simple. Nobody has come back and said, oh my God, I can't believe you messaged me that. Like, everybody has just been like, oh my gosh, girl, I'm really happy where I'm at. But yes, you know what? Thanks for the ask. I respect the hustle. I will definitely reach out to you first if something ever happens. Great. Thank you so much. P.S. I love watching your kids, or I love, because we cheer each other on, and in life. And so anyway, all right, we're going to go straight to Durley. Durley, you're so darn cute. So I got to meet her in New Orleans and got to spend a little time with her a day early. Durley, kind of share with us how long have you been thriving? What number Palooza was this for you? And then I'll just let you talk and kind of like, hey, breakaways, the breakaway sessions, the main stage, what really stood out to you? And then what have you done since you got back?
So if you're not familiar with the lingo of Le-Vel, thriving means that they have been using the Thrive products. That's all that means. And the Palooza that they're talking about is their convention that they have yearly. And this is where all of the training and all of the BS takes place. All of the hyping up and love bombing that, happens in commercial cults, but that's just allegedly.
Alrighty. Well, bear with me. This is my very first Zoom.
So she has a patch on her arm. You can see the little black strip on her arm. That is the patch that I was referring to.
So I am a little bit nervous, but thank you so much, Amber, for having me. I have been thriving for almost 3 years now. No, yes, almost 3 years. And actually, this was my third Palooza. When I first started thriving, I actually went to the very first Palooza that was that year. So it actually has been 3 years for me. I love going to Palooza. I do not miss it. I do not plan to ever miss it. The main thing for me is a community. So I think that one of the things that has been keeping me here, because quite frankly, I've had some rough patches. My team knows that, it's my life has been a roller coaster, going from a stay-at-home mom to working. So not only did the products helped me through that, but the community did. Like I always was able to count on them. I was able to, I don't know, like build friendships instead of just, business partners and acquaintances. So for me, the biggest thing with Palooza is the community. You see so many different faces as well as the same faces, and you get to just experience it. Let's say it's called the same event, but it's not exactly the same event. You always walk out with something different. For me, I think the breakout sessions, I love learning from different people. So my very first Palooza, I was the only one that went to a breakout session that was about belly to belly.
What? Excuse me?
So I wanted to get a little bit more information on how they went out there and how they did belly to belly. And nobody in my team went to that one. I went by myself and I got so much out of it. I learned so much from what they were already doing, those that do grow belly to belly. So for me, I felt like I did learn and I did take out things. So that was one of the things is the breakout sessions. You pick them. We're there for the community. You're there with your team, but don't just focus on being with your team. Go and learn and absorb and go for what you want to grow, what your business needs. Because I can do belly to belly. Amber may not like to belly to belly. Amber sends out those messages to other network marketers. Maybe I don't like to do that. So
Belly to belly sounds very uncomfortable to me. I'm not too sure what that means. If you know, let us know in the comments. I'm thinking of something else. I don't think that they're talking about what I'm thinking of.
Why are you so immature?
So what I say is, if you do get yourself to Palooza, which you should be, if you do get yourself out to Palooza, just make sure that you're going and doing the breakout sessions for what you want your business to grow, what you want to see in your business. So I don't know, what else you want to ask me?
Well, yes, absolutely. Take note, guys. But here's what I want to ask you is, what did you take away from that? Like what that breakaway session, the main stage, what is something that stood out to you while you're like, hey, I'm here for me and this is what I want?
Yes. So this last Palooza, I would say follow-ups and reach outs. There was I don't know if it was the 200K one where we asked away the questions, and I feel like a lot of the things on there were not just building your network and not just building, but also maintaining. So it's not just about, hey, let's welcome new, but also your old customers, your old promoters. If somebody tried the business, if somebody tried the products, it's about reaching out to them and letting them know that you still care for, their well-being, you still care for what their why is. I don't remember the name of the breakout session, but they pointed out a lot of keeping yourself engaged, not only with anybody new that you think that it might be joining you, but also for those that have already joined that maybe decided to walk away or slow down, or the customers that tried it 1 or 2 months and you never followed up with them. So that's one of the things that I took away from this specific Palooza is never forget the ones that have already started thriving, whether it's business or just products, customers. Never forget about always making sure that that you're following up with them, that you're still maintaining that relationship. So that was one of the things in the breakout session, as well as I have a little note here, which I think is really cool how they worded it. This business gives you the options when you don't think you need the options. So in that one, they talked a lot about certain business grew for certain promoters during COVID-19. And it was because many people were looking for options. And as a stay-at-home mom going to work, the plan was that I didn't go to work, but you know what, sometimes plans don't work out. But I didn't quit. Even though I had to go back to work full time. I made sure that I was still taking care of my family, whether I went back to corporate or America or not, but I didn't quit. I maintained that why, I'm not going to stop this because one day I am going to go back home with my babies. One day I am going to make a full-time income so that if my husband needs it, I can help, right now with my corporate job or whatever, I still just live paycheck to paycheck. It barely pays certain things. I'm grateful for it, but the right place still pays for the extras. So share that, share your why, share why you continue to be here, whether you are just a brand promoter or 4K or 12K, your why. I feel like I'm going off topic.
The why. And a lot of times you'll hear these MLMs say, your why should make you cry. That's not the case. Your why could just be because you want something for yourself. You want to make an extra income. You want to make money. It doesn't need to be like this deep thing of this is why I'm doing this and this is why you should do this. And we don't need sob stories for every person that's in an MLM or in a business. We don't need the sob stories anymore. Can we make it stop?
No, you're doing good. I'll just kind of go back and forth with you. So I love like how you said, when people talked about like when COVID hit and whatever, because here's what I will say. My business grew during that time simply because people knew that I sold vitamins. Like I've never, ever, ever stopped sharing my Thrive Life. So when people were like, oh my gosh, I need vitamins, they came to me. They were like, hey, I think I need your vitamins. And I'm like, absolutely. And then of course on the business side of it, yes, people were like, okay, I need something to, sustain or kind of fill in the loss that I took. But I also wanted to touch on when you said, this business comes in when you don't know you're going to need it. And honestly, this is why. So like, if y'all remember Angela Pham, on the main stage, she said she really didn't know her why until she imagined, what if my husband weren't here? Because her husband's the breadwinner. She was the stay at home and all the things. And so thinking, okay, what if? Because unfortunately, we know that's a possibility. We are not promised tomorrow.
What the actual
So her why was just in case her husband wasn't here anymore. That was her why. What the are we doing? I don't know. We'll just keep going, I guess. Whatever.
And I will just do a shameless plug. That's also one of the reasons that I highly recommend life insurance. Once we started having babies, we got like the minimal, that we could afford, but I instantly knew if something were to happen to one of us, we needed something, but I will say, you never know what could possibly happen in your future. Doesn't have to be the death of a spouse, but what about, so for us, several years back, my husband's grandmother got very sick, and while we live in Texas and she lived in Iowa, and there's family 20 minutes from her, they weren't able to fully take care of her all day, every day. My husband was able to go and spend weeks with her and be her caretaker. And because we had this business, and so had he still had his pool business and was working every day, that wouldn't have been an option. And
can we stop with that, please, for the love of okay, sure, he had his business. I'm sure he had employees. If he had a pool business, it wasn't him solely doing it, right? But also, when you're looking at the big picture of most people who are working traditional jobs and in most cases hopefully have benefits, then they have FMLA, right? So you get time off for things like that. That is paid for you to go and do that thing. So let's stop that narrative, please, for the love of everything holy.
And then since then, other things. And then with my husband, with his health, right before Thrivepalooza, had I still been at the salon, I would not have been able to be there all day, every day with him for the 8+ days he was in the hospital. That is something I would have had to move clients around. Hopefully nobody had a wedding, like those are things that I look back and go, I didn't have to do that. So you just never know. You never know. And then, you're only given so many at a normal job, you're only given so many days that you can take off when life happens, right? So, all right, moving on. Durley, do you have any last minute things that you wanted to say or talk about before I move on?
Well, I just did want to share one thing, and I'm only sharing it based on. So I came back from Palooza, and my QV recently has been really high, a lot higher than I've ever had it, and I'm really close to that 4K. To be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be able to close that 4K, but the thing is with Palooza is that momentum when you leave that pushes you to do certain things. I would say same as Amber, and I'm gonna go ahead and just say this: when you maintain relationships and you don't focus on only getting another customer but another friend. I've had friends that I've reached out to these past 2 weeks, and we never talked Thrive, but I always followed up with them. I was up on whatever they posted, and we never talked Thrive. I reach out to them, and some of them have been helping me with my QB just for the fact that I built a friendship. I wasn't just looking for another customer. So
here's the thing. If you're starting a business, a legitimate business, and you're even looking at this as your business, which it's not, but that's a different conversation. You don't rely on your friends to help you meet your quotas. That's not what a business is. That's a fundraiser. That's what that's called.
if you're struggling, just make sure that besides building your network, besides building your customer base, build friendships, be there for them, comment when it's not about Thrive, just focus on the friendship portion and not the business portion. So I think that was a big takeaway for me, and that was a big like bulb just recently in these 2 weeks since back from Palooza. So that's it.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Okay, we're going to jump over to Shannon. Shannon, will you see if you can unmute? I did make you a co-host.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted.
Hi. Okay, so
Hi.
Shannon is another one that I got to spend some time with a day early when I went to Palooza. So very excited. These girls are on Katie Mutz's team, and just so excited and got to spend that time. All right. Shannon, go ahead and just,
Okay.
girl, you got this. Share.
Okay, I'm so nervous, but I have so much to share, and I want to do it as neat as I can.
Okay.
So one of the first things that stuck out to me, I believe it was
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Okay. How long have you been thriving, and what Palooza was this for you?
Okay, so I have been thriving for 5 months. I've been a promoter for 4. This was my first Palooza, and it was amazing. I do not plan to miss any Paloozas. Like Darley said, the community is what stuck out to me the most. The friendships, how you can throw so many different women in a room that come from different walks, different places in life, basically just so different, and create friendships that literally are I hold dear. I would consider them one of my good friends at this point. I got to know so many wonderful people. I learned from every single person, and okay, so I move on to the takeaway. Was there more?
Whatever, just move it along.
Just move on? Okay.
No, that was it. I just wanted you to give a quick little introduction of yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So now tell us what did you do? What classes? What stood out, and what's been different since you came back?
Okay. So what stood out to me? The first thing that stood out to me was Katie went up there and talked when it was the first breakaway that I went to, and she said, stability. Or goodness, I had it open. Fast does not equal stability. And that spoke volumes to me, because everybody wants the fast win. Everybody wants the fast money, the fast win. But at the same time, that isn't going to equal a long-term income, or it doesn't mean that things aren't going to fall apart. I mean, things can always fall apart. And that just spoke volumes to me, that even when things aren't moving as fast as I want them to, I'm doing the right work. I'm putting in the little bits of work that is going to equal stability in the long run. And that spoke volumes to me. The next one that really spoke out to me was, I think his name was Tawny. I'm not sure what his last name was, but he was a basketball player. And the adversity that this guy went up against, and still created amazing things. Still did his dream, still got his mother out of the bad situations that they were in, pulled himself out. Just spoke volumes to me, and told me that no matter what you're facing against, you can always overcome it when you put the work in, when you face adversity head on, that you can always pull yourself out.
What does that have to do with joining an MLM? This is just self-development. Actually, I'd like to touch on that. I was recently accused in my comment section of one of my videos, I don't remember what it was, that I clearly don't do self-development. Maybe I've been in therapy. I am a self-developer. Okay? I am good. I don't need an MLM to do self-development. That's all I had to say about that. But anyway, I don't know where we're going with this, but we're just gonna ride the ride, okay?
Okay, let's go then.
Okay.
And then the one that really, really spoke out to me was Make Sales Great Again. It was amazing. If you don't follow them on Facebook, follow them. They're on Instagram and Facebook. And oh my goodness, they were so good. Be coachable. So I am on any Zoom that I can be on. I am coachable. I want to learn. I'm always changing. I'm always adapting to try new things, learn new things. If it doesn't work once, try it again or try something new. Sorry, I have all these notes so I could stay on track, and then I lost it all. But so basically don't quit. The only way that you can fail in this is if you quit. That spoke volumes to me, that even on my worst day, get that post up there, do it, because the only way you're going to fail is if you quit. It might not happen as quick as you want it to. And then there was, I'm so sorry. There was, okay, so
I'd like to address that also. Quitting an MLM is a step in the right direction, not a failure. I just want to make that clear because I've actually had to work through this specific issue myself because self-development, as far as like quitting something is failing, right? That's not true. Hardly ever. Like if you're quitting something that's not working for you, that is not failure. That is self-awareness. You know something is not working for you, so you're going to go ahead and remove that thing. You're going to quit that thing. That is part of self-development. And to tell people not to quit Le-Vel because you don't think it's working yet, just keep going when they want to quit, that's a red flag, right? You can't preach self-development and then tell people to not do self-development. It's one or the other. You can't, it's not both. If you are watching this and you have been in Le-Vel and you're feeling like it's not working for you anymore and you've been thinking about quitting but you feel guilty, if it's not working for you anymore, quit. It is not a failure. And that goes for anything. Okay, that's my rant for this video. We'll see if we have any more.
let's talk less and then let them talk. This was from Make Sales Great Again. Be bold. Let them ask questions and then let them answer their questions, because when they speak it, they own it. And that's one thing that they said that really stuck with me. So when somebody messages me about something, I ask them, what are you struggling with? And then I throw the objections in their face before they can say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, or it won't work for me because of this. You let them speak it, because then when they do speak it, I've already gotten one sale, and be bold. I am bold about it. Close that sale.
When they speak it, you have ammo to rope them into your bullshit MLM.
What is your address was one of their examples, was be bold and make up your own closing if needed. And then reduce the risk of trying. That has been one of my biggest things that I've been focusing on since Palooza, is reduce the risk. So do samples at the lowest that you can, do giveaways, reduce the risk. Because once you get these products, as you all know, these products are amazing. Once you get the products into their hands, it's a wrap after that. 99% of the time, it's a wrap. They're coming back for a whole month's supply.
Where's the proof?
And I really have just been learning to be a little more bold. If somebody posts on Facebook that they are constantly tired, that's an invitation for me to say, hey, I have a solution.
No, it's not an invitation for you to say that ever. Somebody saying they're tired on social media is not an invitation for you to pitch them a product. No, don't do that. They're likely just venting on social media. They just want to not feel like they're the only one that's tired all the time. And we're all tired all the time, I think. But that is not an invitation to hop into my DMs and sell me your Thrive bullshit.
And I have been seeing, again, like Durley said, my QV has been higher than ever. The fire that Palooza put into me, it's been amazing. I took so many notes. I have so much that I could share on and on and on and on about. But until you experience a Palooza on your own and take those notes for yourself, like, I can't express how much it has changed my business in just these short 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, and I wanted to say back Durley, and then I'm going to come back. Durley, I just wanted to encourage you. I have a personally enrolled promoter that yesterday morning was at 2,600 in volume, and she was like, I'm going for this. I'm going to make this happen for the 4K rank advancement. And she is one order away from hitting it. So do not talk yourself out of what can happen in less than 24 hours. Like literally all you have to do. And then I've got another one that's running for the 12K that I don't even know where you good? It's a lot. Like her volume growth has been incredible in 2 days. So that's the thing. It's just run with everybody that you have reached out to, everybody that has said maybe later, yeah, I'm interested, ghosted you, all the things. Go find them, message them. Do you have credits? Do you have plus line products that you can send them samples with if they place an order today? Like, hey, I'm running for a goal, but most importantly, I know that you mentioned you're tired, you're exhausted. And this is where the Meg Sells Great Again comes in, right, Shannon? You already said you're tired and exhausted. What will it take for you to not be tired and exhausted anymore? You told me you're broke and you don't like that feeling. Hey, what's it going to take? Like, that's the question, right? So
if you're broke and you don't like that feeling, spending money to join an MLM is not going to help. You're likely not even going to make that money back that you spent to join the MLM. But those are just statistics.
Yeah, that's all I have for that. Shannon, did you have any last tips?
Basically in my 4 months of being here, I have learned that have fun with it, never give up, be consistent, and you will watch it grow, because I am blown away. I have no experience in network marketing. I've never did anything like that. I had zero knowledge on any of this. Plug in as much as you can and close the sale.
I love it. And I love to
zero knowledge of any of this. Like, I have no knowledge of what the products even do. And just keep pushing and sell.
This is a ridiculously awful plan.
What is fucking happening in the world? This is the third video I've filmed today, and I'm pretty sure this is it for me for today. Anyway.
Shannon said she gets on every training she can get on, every Zoom she can consume. But like Margie said on the main stage, you have to do the dang thing. And here's what I know about Shannon. She's getting off the Zooms and she's going and doing the dang thing, because just getting on a Zoom is not doing the dang thing, right? And so that's where she's got the fire and the passion. She's going and asking the question. She's going and doing the do. So just remember that. All right, we are going to pop over to Alex.
Do the do. I hate when they say that. That's such MLM lingo. Go and do the do. What the fuck does that even mean? Do the do. What? Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. And if you don't give me a very specific, itemized list of things that I need to do, like I have to do this for myself every day, then I'm just going to freeze. I don't know what to do. Do the do. So I'm going to do nothing.
I do not know, Alex. I was just told about him yesterday when I'm looking for people to interview. And Twin was like, oh my gosh, you have to interview Alex. So I went and sent him a message, and then I scoped his Instagram, and holy moly. So Alex, come on. We love, one, we do not hear and see enough men's stories thriving and then also promoting. So I'm going to ask you a little bit more detail as far as when did you start thriving? Kind of give us your Thrive story background.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the introduction. I started last year in October, November. Like I ordered, I think October, but didn't really start until November-ish. And that was it. I was one of the lucky ones who kind of maybe 2-3 days went by and I was like, okay, cool. This is good. Like I'm good. And then after a couple weeks, it was like, I used to like go take naps during my kids. Well, first I used to be very present during their like extracurricular practices where like I would like sit and watch and I would be involved with the coaches. And I actually coached for a couple years for soccer. But just as kind of like things at work picked up and life picked up, I kind of took a back seat. And over time I'd start like napping during their practices because I'll just be exhausted. And a couple weeks went by and I realized that I hadn't really been taking naps or anything. And just the energy was like, the story, the energy is just everlasting and it would go all day. So that's how I knew. I was like, okay, this is good stuff. And then one day I was just up late doing the mindless scroll thing for a little bit. And I just checked promoter, didn't tell anybody, didn't like prepare for any of the VIP bonuses or nothing. I just went in blind and, a couple days went by. I think like a couple of weeks went by actually before I was like, oh, hey, I forgot to tell you, I clicked promoter. And like, she's like, she was mad. She's like, you did what? And there was like 2 days left for like all the bonuses. So that was just kind of what it was. And I kind of just knew going in that like, um, I was just going to kind of ease into it and soak as much information up as I could as a promoter. And then when Ultimate Thriver was announced, my sponsor was like, hey, you got to do this. Like there's no question, like you got to do this. And I was like, I don't know. But then, you know, I just kind of sat and thought and planned for a little bit. And I was like, you know, I don't really have credibility in this department, and doing this can kind of jumpstart that. And I can kind of like skip the years and years of having to build credibility and just use this as a catalyst to kind of, you know, skip all those years and just turn 4 years of building credibility into 4 months. And it kind of worked out that way. So, yeah, that's
Okay,
kind of just how I
share
got
with us,
here.
because I saw some of your reels that walk through the process. What was your starting weight and your now weight?
In my reel, it's 217, but like at the highest I saw was 219, and I got down to 178. And now I'm at like a steady like 185-ish.
Crazy. And y'all, like his Instagram, it is like the transformation is crazy, one, but you see him put in the actual work.
So that makes him qualified to sell this bullshit to other people. But what else did he do? Did he change his diet? Did he start exercising more? There's so many other things that go into it, like the movement, the exercise, the weightlifting, the diet, sleep, water intake. So many things that go into it that they don't address, and they just credit Thrive and Le-Vel for everything, where it's probably, in my opinion, a placebo effect in most cases.
And I feel like that is such a great analogy with our business and our bodies. Like you have to put in the work. You don't just automatically lose that weight by starting to take Thrive. You know, like he put in the work, and he showed like slowly, like his eating and his workouts, like it showed him doing those things. And
My point exactly.
If he did it without Thrive, would he have been as successful? Maybe, but maybe just thinking that, oh, Thrive is doing it helped him along also, because that's a placebo effect.
And our business is the same. You have to put in the work, and a lot of it is behind the scenes, you know? So Alex, go ahead then and tell us about Thrivepalooza. So this is your first Thrivepalooza then, right?
Yeah.
All right. Tell us about Thrivepalooza. Include any like breakout sessions, things that stood out to you, notes.
Yeah, it was my first one, and I kind of knew that it was gonna be a good time. Like, I don't know how I knew. Maybe it's like my team and like Angela's charisma and just my sponsor Angie has a lot of the similar charismatic qualities that Angela does. So it's real easy to just kind of get sucked in and to get motivated and to want to be like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do this. So she was like, it's going to be a blast. You're going to have the best time ever. And it did not disappoint. It was, we got in a little late, and that was like one of the very few regrets that I have is getting in later on Friday. But luckily I was able to go back and watch Jackie and Lena's, and I forget the other two panelists, but I kind of watched their waiting room panel. And that actually helped a lot, because I have two promoters now who are like eligible for it. So I'll be like kind of looking into that in a little bit. But just kind of, yeah, all the tail end of Friday that I was able to catch. Saturday was a good, I mean, shoot, Friday evening was fun, but I'll try to focus on the and Saturday evening was too, but I'll focus on the kind of the panels and the learning experience versus the partying.
I mean,
But
community is always great.
yeah, yeah, it was good. So we kind of left early Friday evening, me and a couple people, because I got to a point where I was like, okay, if I have another drink, then I'll probably start to feel it tomorrow. So me and a couple people, like I made like the conscious decision, like I really wanted to be fully present for Saturday. I didn't want to be all like lethargic or hungover or anything. So and then we walked back too, which wasn't like a super long walk, but it helped just kind of like walk off all the couple or few drinks that we had.
I think I need everybody to hear that. Like if you're at Thrivepalooza, like you're there for a purpose. So yeah, and you know, party on Saturday night.
Yeah.
You don't need to punish yourself for having a couple of drinks. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. You don't need to punish yourself for having a couple of drinks, indulging in dessert, none of those things. Your body burns calories just doing nothing. Sleep, eating, you actually burn calories while you eat, talking, breathing, blinking, moving your arm to grab something. Your body burns calories doing those things. You don't need to punish yourself for indulging every once in a while. Can we stop that narrative? Thank you and good night.
That was good. So yeah, so Saturday, after the, calamity of like rushing to get a spot, which made for some good content though. That was a good little video or portion of it. Um, and then I was lucky enough to get seated like right next to Jackie, where it's like, how do you not just kind of pick up and learn? Even though that's another regret. I wish I would have kind of interacted and picked her brain a little bit more. But I was just like captivated and really like into all the speakers and sessions. And I guess one that stood out. Well, I gotta plug Angela. Like I'm gonna plug my team. Like her speech definitely stood out. And I'm not like her vision and her why. I can't necessarily like relate to it, but that doesn't mean that I was like wasn't like back there getting teary eyed just hearing her kind of speak about it and just kind of taking on those feelings myself. But then Staff Sergeant Mills, that was one that really stood out because I'm an Army veteran. So hearing his story, it definitely like I didn't get no video. I was just like standing there, just like or sitting there, just like captivated the whole time, laughing and crying and just going back and forth between all these emotions. And so that one was definitely the one that like it was a great keynote speaker, and it was good for me to kind of be there and witness that and hear that and whatnot.
I love that.
And then doing the thing, of
thank you for
course.
your service.
Yeah.
But yes, I didn't take any video of him either. Like I was just like, like I think I took a couple notes, but most everything I just sucked in the moment.
Yeah. So Saturday, doing the thing. Obviously, that's what I feel like that's been getting echoed not just throughout my team, but I see some other people that I follow and see them talking about it. So it's clear that a lot of people took doing the thing and kind of is implementing that throughout their own teams. What else? Yeah, that was in terms of the sessions and whatnot. Obviously, the new product line and the host's charisma and Jason Camper's charisma. It was a really good just. I went in trying to be a sponge, and I feel like I soaked up a lot of stuff and just kind of took it.
I love that. So tell us then, when you came back, what does that look like? What have you implemented? How has your energy kind of brought in people, or has it?
Absolutely. We had a pop-up this last weekend. Well, my sponsor did it, Angie. And man, I think just seeing her kind of work and seeing her crowd work and seeing her pitch and just it was for women in small business. And I was like, should I go? Like, I'm a dude. Should I be there? She's like, no, you're coming. Like, come on. And my daughter ended up, she was supposed to have a soccer tournament that day. But the last game got canceled, and then they moved her first game to an earlier time. So it was like, I got no excuse. Like, I got to do the thing. Like, here's doing the thing. Here's where we do it right here. So initially I was like, I'm going to have Gianna. My other daughter had a gymnastics tournament in Arizona. But I had one of my daughters, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I'm all about like surrounding her with like successful, powerful women. So even if she's only 10, so it's like, even if she's not like in the mix, she's just seeing what it looks like. And that's like half the battle right there. So
No, let's not teach our daughters to join MLMs. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. If you're a child, please just no. Please, no. Okay, that's all.
She was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. So I kind of just had to like break it down for her. Like, listen, like this, you don't have to like be present and look at it all the time. I'll give you my phone. Like, go, here's some Robux, like do your thing or whatever. But I caught her from time to time, like looking up and just seeing how Angie was interacting and just watching like her and Hannah and us just kind of converse and whatnot. So I know that even if she was like irritated by the end of the day, she's still, it's one of those things that subconsciously she'll kind of go with. So there was a lot of, as much as it was good for me, it was good for my daughter to be there as well. And I just saw it in action. It was my first pop-up that I attended. And it was just, seeing setup, tear down, and then in the midst, what it takes. And she got like, I don't know if it was like 5 or 7, or she got all these new people to sign on. And it just, yeah, it was a good experience.
I love it. I love it. I will say, so when I started this, my boys were 8 and 11, and we were doing lots of Thrive Locals and events in person, belly to belly. So they just came with us, and
Yeah.
they would sit in the back of the room, they'd be on the iPad or whatever. But they just grew up in this, and they knew Jason Kipper, they knew Paul Gravett, and they were like, well, Jason says da da da. Like they would like throw stuff back at us. I will never forget.
I did shit like this, unfortunately, with my oldest when he was around 6, 7, right? I don't know. Maybe 5, maybe 4. Who knows? But anyway, I tried to make him a Scentsy kid and then a LuLaRoe kid because this was when they were launching their Disney stuff and they had shirts that were kind of like unisex. And I regret it. And these people will too when they are out of the MLM. They will look back and be like, why did I do that to my kids? Why did I bring them into this business? It's not okay. Don't teach your kids to join MLMs, or don't teach your kids that MLMs are normal. Don't teach your kids that MLMs are acceptable forms of business or work. They are a scam, in my opinion.
Carson, my youngest, who is now 18, he was probably 10 or 11. And I think we were doing something and he was like, Mom, because he hears I'm on all the calls and he hears all the things. And he was like, well, Maria was living 40 days in a camper and doing team calls and building her business in her car every night. I'm like, yes, I know. And even like throwing things back, I know over the years, like my husband listened to like, Grant Cardone or things like that in those podcasts in the car. And one time, I think it was my oldest that threw back at him. He's like, well, Grant Cardone says you're not supposed to say no.
Whoa.
What did you just say?
So surround your kids in this, surround them in the positive of business building. Maybe they work for somebody, maybe they grow their own business.
We're quoting Grant Cardone. Your kids are quoting Grant Cardone, one of the biggest scammers out there right now. Red flag. If they're bringing up their kids quoting Grant Cardone, run for the fucking hills. Please, 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 God, please.
But they're going to be, what is that? Immersed in positivity and tips and tricks and all the things. So, Alex, do you have any last minute tips for anybody? It's end of the month. We're going strong. We're going to crush May, falling over into tomorrow.
Just be a team player. Like I always want to like plug my team, and even those that aren't like my direct, like whether it's my promoters or my direct uplines, just sharing everybody's wins. It's definitely good for just not just building on your own team, but like casting that wide net of networking and just being grateful and thankful to everyone on, from your team to your uplines team to their uplines team and so on. It's like just everybody can eat, everybody can share. There's no reason why any of that negativity or selfishness really needs to be present.
I love that. I will say, a while back, Lynn Coggins said, I'm not, and I think it was at a Thrivepalooza. She said, I'm not your competition, I'm your proof. We are not in competition with other Thrivers because your friends are your friends. My friends are my friends.
Business isn't just a collection of friends. When you're running a business, like you are competing with each other. So that narrative doesn't fit what you're doing. You are literally competing with each other to get more teammates, to get more sales, more bonuses. It is a competition. Don't tell people it's not a competition. It is. You want to get to the top, and not everybody's going to get to the top. So it's a competition to see who's going to get there quicker and see who can recruit more people quicker before it gets too oversaturated.
Every once in a while, like, so Janelle and my husband went to high school together. So every once in a while, like our lines crossed and whatnot, but like the people that we get, like, it's just proof for the people that know the people that we get, for her to get more people, so it's, and it's the same in any other network marketing. Somebody said, well, oh, this leader is our competition, or this company is our competition. It's like, there's no competition. You know what your product has, what it brings, what it does, what your business, your comp plan. Hey, we're free to freaking join. That's huge, y'all. There's no competition here. So if you have that mindset of, we don't have competition, then you just kind of keep running with that. Shannon, Dirty, do either one of you have any last minute things you're like, oh, I want to say this?
I'm just gonna tell. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna mention the waiting room. What he said. It is a that training, and I completely spaced that one out. But that one is just utilizing your waiting room, but also, and I can't really remember what she said, but one of them was, see, and I was just like, now that I'm like, I go back and then, okay, maybe Shannon has something, because there's something that one of them said in the waiting room about utilizing the waiting room, but also building those who you know you're gonna see grow versus somebody who just is waiting to take. Or yeah, something like give to those who are going to also give, but don't just give to those who are just taking and taking. So I just wanted to put that out there, because while we touch the waiting room, it is very iffy. You kind of like live and learn with that one. So
yeah, and I'm gonna throw in a couple of things about the waiting room before I hop back over to Shannon. One, yes, what you just said, because Chastity and I have always said we reward work. So if I have something in my waiting room, I'm going to be conscious about those moves, and I'm going to use that to build someone that's truly working and running after their goals, and I know they're working, I know they're showing up, versus somebody that just shows up last day of the month. Hey, do you have any waiting room? Because I'm this much away from my goal. I'm like, where you been all month? So, but this, and please hear me when I say this, do not make any waiting room moves until you talk to your 80K or higher leader.
Where have you been all month? Maybe working their actual job, maybe taking care of their family, things that actually are going to be more important than working their MLM.
Let them look, because you can condense and knock yourself out of a pay rank. So do not make any waiting room moves until you talk to your 80K leader and y'all look at your replacement and you look at what is there. Okay. Do not. Okay. All right. Shannon. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one more thing. So I'm a plant freak, if you guys can't tell. I have a whole room designated to plants.
It's
so
beautiful.
Thank you. So I'm hosting a plant event. One of the things someone said was sprinkle Thrive into your life. So I'm having a plant swap here at my home. I'm getting a bunch of people over from the community, getting my name out there, getting myself known in the community. I started this before I started Thrive. I have 300 members in a plant share group, and I'm doing a plant swap here at my house where I have my Thrive products. I'm going to hand out I took full advantage of that 50% off. I have so much products, drink mixes, things. I'm going to sprinkle some all around with some water bottles, get the products out. That is an investment back into my business. And then also I have been
that's not how we do this. That's not how this works. You're inviting people to something for one reason, and then you're bamboozling them with an MLM product. That, oh my God. Oh, I need to be done for the day, I think. Wow. I would say that I'm not surprised, but ew. Why? These people just want to talk about plants, not join you in thriving ever. No, just stop.
Planning a gathering at Letchworth State Park for all the local women on Katie Muntz's team. And we are up to like 20 different people coming. We're all doing food. We're getting pictures. We're going to do a gathering, cookouts. So don't be afraid to get local women and men together to celebrate, to have fun, get your kids together, take pictures. I just wanted to throw that out there as well. I am so excited to do this and get together with other like-minded people. You don't have to wait for Palooza to get together. You don't have to wait for the company to do something to get together. Plan it yourselves. Get out there. Get to know your teammates. Get to know people on your uplines teammates, and those are your teammates. Get to know everybody and anybody and learn from each other. And that's what I wanted to throw in.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And guys, yeah, because everybody is tired of being behind a screen, but at the same time, some people kind of went a little introverted that typically aren't introverted. And now, I mean, it's been years, but it's like, how do I go be social? Like, how do I go do that again? So, there are some people that are struggling with that internal struggle right now. So like going to events, and doesn't have to be a Thrive event, and make sure that you're wearing your DFT where it can be seen, right? When I'm at the track, like it's noticeable. People are like, what is that? 10 years later, I still have people asking me, what is that? I have a brand new promoter that just signed up the other day, and she said, when we were talking about it, she was like, well, I don't know if I would start as a customer or promoter. She goes, you're my only friend I know that thrives. Well, first of all, that's amazing, because that means all of her friends most likely don't know about Thrive. So when people say, oh, it's saturated, no, it's not. No, it's not. And
just because everybody isn't using it doesn't mean it's not saturated. Hopefully that means that people are aware of the bullshit and they're not falling for it. And that's why her friends aren't using it.
And she and I even have mutual friends because we're in the motocross community. And so part of me is like, well, then I haven't done my job, because if some of our mutual friends aren't thriving yet, there's a problem. Okay. But wear your DFT, go have events, mom's night, dad's night. Like,
the DFT is the patches. So wear those so that people ask you what the fuck is on your arm or your chest or your face. I don't know, wherever you're wearing it.
have the plant parties, go with your teams. I know Siobhan does this. I don't know if it's every week or what, but her promoters that are local, they go have like lunch and they have play dates with their kids, and so they're building their business while their kids play. like they are growing together while their kids play. So having the team barbecues, I know Janelle's big about that. They have team barbecues and team get-togethers, and yes, having pop-up events. Are you ordering meals? Have you had a tasting event at your home? Are you having pop-up Thrive events locally? Like, this is, and people trust you in person. And so when they see you're a real person and you're not a salesy person, they're going to trust you at those events. And then also going, like, I go to Bunko with a group of moms, and I'm like, I wear my DFT, like, I don't talk Thrive while I'm there unless they ask me about it. But those moms that I don't know yet, I'm adding them to my Facebook. I'm adding people out and about to my Facebook or to my Instagram when I'm traveling, constantly adding people, because they're going to eventually see me and they're going to see my Thrive, and we're going to interact, and they're going to feel amazing. So, all right, guys, last minute, it is end of the month. A couple things. Make sure that you have your 2 customers so that you can get your Thrive for free. But also, why did balloons just go across my face? Okay, I'm like, what did I do that made that happen? Okay, you need 2 customers to get your Thrive for free. You also need 2 customers if you're at 4K or higher, so that you get paid at that rank. Okay. Make sure your personally enrolled promoters have their 100 PV. Make sure that they, is that a plant hanging down? I was like, what is that hanging down? It's like little shell of hearts over there. Okay. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay. So make sure that your promoters, if they're 4K or higher, also have 2 customers. I love that our trackers now are live timing, and they show exactly what you need. So look at your rank tracker and make sure everything's filled in. Make sure if you're up for a bonus, everything is filled in. You can't say, I didn't know, unless you're not logged in. So log in, check all your things, and go from there. All right. Have a great end of month. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Alex and Darley and Shannon. We appreciate you greatly. Go crush the month, y'all.
Yikes, don't fall for Le-Vel. Don't join Le-Vel. Don't join an MLM. It's time for a palette cleanser. TikTok hates your bullshit. This is a spin on the Shay Mitchell coconut water trend that's happening over on TikTok.
Lock in moisture with our new body oil. Wow, how hydrating.
I love this so much. much because it's a mom and a daughter, and I just think it's so fun and so cute and so harmless, unless of course the water gets all over the phone, which is a whole different story. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me while I talk a bunch of shit, and I will see you in the next one.